What up, guys? Your boy Quake back with a brand new episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast, number 282, powered by the one and only Golden Eagle Energy Drink. Get your Golden Eagle Energy Drinks at drinkgoldeneagle.com/DMP. Show them love because they sponsored all season 4 of the podcast. So please show them love. Go to drinkgoldeneagle.com/DMP. Of course, guys, let's get into it, man. There's so much that's been happening in hip hop. It's been the greatest content to make these past month. And it's all thanks to really Kendrick Lamar for setting everything off with the Like That. And then Chris Brown getting into it with Quavo and Rick Ross and Future and all these people jumping in and doing things, and Drake responding and engaging and all this stuff. And now including AI and disses. And it's gotten to the level where it's just it's funny. The funniest thing out of all this is just funny to see people's reactions to a lot of this stuff in hip hop. And a lot of people really, it's unfortunate. I think if you're on one side, let's just say you're on Kendrick's side or you're on Drake's side, you should be still open-minded. You know, I think if you're just stuck on one side, regardless of what the other artist delivers, then really it just defeats the purpose of the whole battle. Because the whole point, I think, in a hip hop battle is to convince your fan base that you aren't that good and you're corny, so that you gain that other side's fan base more. But if people are just stuck in their ways of who they support, then it's going to really not do much. And that's what I'm seeing, and it's unfortunate. I mean, if I support Drake, I'm a Dick Ryder, Glazer. I that's all I love is Drake. You're an Aubrey fucking fan. You're all this. You glaze him, you Dick Ride him, all this. If I support Kendrick, you're a Dick Ryder, you're a Glazer. There's no in between. You know, I was criticizing Drake for taking a while to respond because Drake's always the one pressuring to respond, like he did with Meek Mill, and now he's doing it with Kendrick. When I did that, oh, you're a hater, oh, you just, this, that, you love Kendrick, you're Dick Ryder. I go and Drake drops push-ups, love him, say, dude, push-ups is amazing, exactly what I wanted. Nah, you're a Drake Glazer, and you can't win. That's just it. The internet is the internet. You'll never win. I'm in the middle. I've said that from the jump. I'm in the middle. If J. Cole was involved in this, I would be siding with J. Cole. So wherever he's at, if he was on Drake's side, I'd be on Drake's side. If he was on Kendrick's side, I'd be on Kendrick's side. Because I, personally, out of all the three, I like J. Cole the most. I've always liked J. Cole the most out of all three. Unfortunately, he's bowed out of everything. He apologized, and he's doing his own thing, minding his business. And I think looking back from what we've seen so far, it might have been a smart move because J. Cole doesn't really have a huge dog in this fight. I mean, he's never really had issues with Kendrick or Drake. Drake and Kendrick have had issues with each other. But Kanye has jumped into this, so we'll talk about that a little bit later, and he called out J. Cole. So this might be a chance for J. Cole to redeem himself. So there's going to be a lot of songs we're going to go over in terms of diss tracks. The Drake AI track, the Chris Brown track towards Quavo, and the Kanye West Like That remix. But before we get into all that stuff and all the drama, let's get into the regular daily news. And there's been updates in Kodak Black's case, and he got a huge break. So let's go over it. Kodak Black has scored a rare legal victory after his drug case was fully dismissed. Yes, fully dismissed. So he got really lucky with this. The Florida rapper was arrested in December for cocaine possession and tampering with physical evidence, as well as being improperly parked. The drug possession charge was dismissed earlier this year after lab tests proved the drug was not cocaine but oxycodone, which Kodak had a prescription for. According to TMZ, the remaining witness tampering charge was tossed out by a judge this week, rendering the case closed. So he got out of the situation. Wow, his attorneys are doing their thing. So Kodak's attorney, Bradford Cohen, said in a statement, the court recognized the valid arguments that were made to dismiss the last remaining count of this wrongful arrest. We are happy to see the case resolved and Kodak continue to be successful in both the entertainment world and his philanthropic ventures. The only remaining offense from this arrest is traffic citation, which ain't too bad. Traffic citation is nothing. Kodak Black was released from jail in February after the drug possession charges were dropped. Shortly after he left Brown County, however, Kodak found himself in a confrontation with local media. Yeah, we talked about that a while ago, but yeah, update on that. Looks like all the charges are dismissed. He just has a traffic violation ticket, which is nothing. It's like speeding, whatever. It's nothing. But yeah, out of the case. Good for him. Gets to move forward. Hopefully he doesn't put himself in these damn situations again and get caught up in another situation like this. But unfortunately, with Kodak Black's history, that might happen again. I'm hoping it doesn't, man. I've always kind of I've wished well on him because it's like, listen, he's got talent. He's delivered hit after hit on each album he's released for the most part. So, you know, he can have longevity. He can be part of this hip-hop thing for a while if he actually focuses on it. And I think he's got different type of talent. You know, there's certain artists that, you know, they're not the most lyrical, but they can deliver songs in a very passionate way. And Kodak's one of those artists. There's been a lot of records from him that, you know, he's gone through it and you can hear it in his voice. So sometimes it's not just about lyrical ability, but it's about delivery, emotional range, you know, because there's some artists that have amazing lyrical ability, but they sound the same on every record and it just doesn't hit like that. And that's what I get from DaBaby. Even though he killed this recent freestyle he did on the LA Leakers, destroyed it, did an amazing job. But DaBaby doesn't really seem to have a lot of range. And he doesn't really have that that punch when it comes to a lot of the music that he's been releasing, at least recently. So we'll see. With that freestyle, it sounds like he's hungry again. And he admitted in the freestyle he kind of fell off because he was getting paid $300,000 for a verse. Now he's only getting paid $150,000, which is still a lot of money. $150,000 to come up with a 40-second verse. Hey man, I would love that if I was in that position. That would be amazing. But yeah, that's still good. At least he admitted it to that, and I think he's finding his way back slowly. But hopefully he, you know, starts to deliver more music that's more wider range. But yeah, shout out to Kodak. Everything dismissed. However, for NBA YoungBoy, things are not looking as good. We talked about him getting arrested in his Utah house that he's been under house arrest for so long. But it looks like more details have emerged. And NBA YoungBoy was pretending to be a doctor at one point, which is ridiculous. So let's go over the article. NBA YoungBoy was taken into police custody on multiple charges in Utah earlier this week, and new details emerged about his alleged crimes. And on Wednesday, April 17th, soon after his arrest, KUTV2 News Salt Lake City reported the police documents indicate he is a suspect in a large-scale prescription fraud ring. Wow. That is known to try to acquire promethazine with codeine. Here we go. Additionally, the authorities are also investigating the Baton Rouge native for obtaining said drugs under false identities, which they have been monitoring since September 2023. Come on, NBA YoungBoy. You know you're on house arrest. You don't think they're monitoring what the fuck you're doing? Anyways, continue on. Someone would call in a prescription under a fake name or a physician who didn't authorize it, the news outlet revealed. They would try to go pick it up then. At one point, one of the people working for YoungBoy actually drove to pick up a prescription in his Chevy Tahoe that you can see in some of the music videos. Law enforcement searched his home. They found prescriptions matching some of those fake names. Not looking good. YoungBoy has subsequently been hit with 63 charges. He denies any involvement in the aforementioned criminal operation and is being held in jail without bail. Ridiculous, man. If you're under house arrest, this just goes to show that the rapper and their friends are drug addicts. Like at this point, if you have to pretend to be a doctor or a physician or something to get prescriptions, you are an addict. If you're willing to risk your freedom again over and over and over to get your high off whatever the hell you love, you are an addict. You're a drug addict. That's just the bottom line of it. So continuing on, this details more about the story of NBA YoungBoy allegedly impersonating a doctor. On Thursday, April 18th, two different pieces of information about the case became public. The first is a police affidavit revealing the results of the investigation into YoungBoy's alleged crime of being part of a prescription drug fraud ring. Second, the whole reason he's in Utah in the first place, his placement on house arrest while a federal gun case in Louisiana plays out, is in jeopardy as a result of his arrest. The affidavit, which can be read in full here, shows that YoungBoy's arrest was the result of a months-long investigation into a series of allegedly fake prescriptions for promethazine with codeine called in, and the document claims picked up by YoungBoy and his associate. YoungBoy's alleged scheme worked like this, according to affidavit. A suspect calls in the prescription, claiming the identity of a real doctor and using fraudulent patient name and birthday, all for promethazine codeine. Sometime after prescriptions are called in, they are filled and picked up by YoungBoy and or other people referred to known as Associates 1 and 2. One big clue into the investigation was linguistic. The document describes an incident in early 2024 where a pharmacy received a suspicious prescription for a woman named Gwendolyn Cox. The pharmacy reports this to the police. While this is happening, two women who are allegedly known associates of YoungBoy show up to the pharmacy to pick up the prescription and are detained. Come on, man. If you're going to do this type of stuff, make sure people that aren't affiliated with you, like that rarely have any ties to you, go and pick up this stuff. Because if they got too much ties to you, they're going to track this shit easily. That leads Gwendolyn Cox calling the police and attempting to straighten everything out. However, the officer notes Gwendolyn gave the wrong last name and refused to provide a birth year or address. More notably, the document continues, during the conversation with Gwendolyn, it was very clear that a fake voice was being used. Gwendolyn sounded as though she was a much younger male from the southern states. So basically, NBA YoungBoy. Hey, this is NBA YoungBoy. My name is Gwendolyn. I'm trying to get, like, come on, bro. Come on, man. In addition, Gwendolyn used the word axed instead of asked. Yeah, which the officer notes is consistent with a southern dialect. Come on, if you're going to at least call in, try to sound as professionally doctor or whatever physician as possible. Don't do that, man. The next day, YoungBoy himself used ax for ask in a conversation with the same officer. There you go. And he does say ax a lot. A lot of interviews he'll say that. Ax, instead of ask, I asked. This is similar to my conversation with Gwendolyn the night before. When Gwendolyn used the same word, the officer noted, leading him to believe that Gwendolyn and NBA YoungBoy were one and the same. So yeah, YoungBoy has been charged with 20 separate counts of procuring or attempting to procure any drug/prescription, in addition to 20 counts of forgery and identity fraud. He has also been hit with drug count, a gun count, and a charge of pattern of unlawful activity. In total, he faces 63 charges. Not looking good, man. What's funny about this, if there's anything to laugh at, is the impersonation, because I did that as a kid, though, not as a 20-something year old grown man. As a kid, I'll never forget it. I just didn't want to go to school that day. I was in the third grade. I just didn't want to go to school that day. So, or I think, hold on. Never mind. Not that. I was sick for like 2-3 days. I was legitimately sick. But I wanted to extend that to like a week, so I don't come to go to school. Like the whole week, I just wanted to be off school. So what I did was I made this like bowl of cereal with like a bunch of nasty stuff in it, and I threw it outside my front porch, basically the door. And as I threw it, I told my mom, "Hey, I just threw up outside." And it was fake. It was obviously my mom kind of looked at me. She was like, okay, yeah, just stay. You're going to stay home. The next day, though, I had to come up with another plan or concoction to say, hey, he needs to, because like my mom had to call in every single day to let, the school, the teachers know, hey, he's not coming in today. So the next day I was like, shit, how do I, get to a point where, hey, if they call again, I can just lie and say I'm not going, because my mom was at work that day and like, they had to call in, but I was like, I'm not, I told her I want to go to school, but we'll see. And I just decided not to go. I lied to her and was like, nah, I'm going to go. But, later down the line, I just changed my mind. I was like, I'm not going to go. So they called and asked, hey, is he coming to school today? And I literally tried to change my voice. Mind you, I'm a kid. Like, it's about as clear as day. But here's the thing that saved me, that they never caught on to, was my mom barely speaks English. So it's kind of easier to manipulate that when she barely speaks English. So I put my voice in a higher pitch, even though I had a high pitched voice as a kid, but I just put it in even higher pitch. I was like, yeah, this is, his mom, and, he's sick still, and blah, blah, blah. She kind of, like, the lady on the phone had a little suspicion, but she was like, okay, he's still sick. Okay, thanks for letting us know. Bye. And that's it. I never got caught. And that was just my kind of my thing of trying to get out of school. So NBA YoungBoy doing this at the age of 20-something and having all this risk is probably the dumbest thing, but it just shows. I think he's an addict at the end of the day, and unfortunately that he's stuck in a house for that long. Even though you have a big house, you're still stuck in a big prison. You can't leave, can't do anything. So it's really ridiculous how long that gun charge is dragging on, because he's been stuck in this house for a fat minute. I don't even know how long, over a year easily. So it's unfortunate that those take so long, you know? So he's probably going through a lot of stress, a lot of problems, and then leads to more drug use and stuff like that. So we'll keep our eyes posted on this, but definitely one of the worst decisions, I think, in NBA YoungBoy is try to pretend to be a doctor or a physician to get your drug doses. You know, if anything, try to beat that addiction at that moment. I know it's hard because you're locked in your house, but it's a good time to reflect, man. You're not outside and about from distractions. You know, it's the best time to just sit there and reflect and try to become a better person. But yeah, we'll keep our eyes posted, and you know, good luck to NBA YoungBoy, and you know, hope that a lot of these things go away, and hope that he finally recovers from these drug addictions. 6ix9ine, I know we haven't talked about this guy in a minute, but it seems like he's going through financial issues, which is something that I think a lot of people saw from a mile away. I mean, there's only so amount of time you can sustain the lifestyle that you're doing without really delivering anything to bring in a lot more money. Or just, I mean, if he drops a new album, I think he'll do some numbers and generate some type of money because there's still a fan base. You can just go straight the Spanish route and people probably still listen to him. I don't know. But I do know that, you know, hiring all that security, worried about your life every day because you did the snitching that you did is going to, you know, affect you in a lot of ways. And financially, it's going to affect you a lot too. So let's go over the article and see exactly what happened. 6ix9ine has seen his legal woes worsen as a number of his luxury cars have been seized by the IRS from his Florida home. The custom vehicles, which include a Bentley, were taken as part of an operation conducted by Palm Beach Sheriff's Office on Wednesday, April 17th, in assistance of the Internal Revenue Service. According to TMZ, the rapper was not home at the time of the raid, during which the IRS seized multiple items of property in addition to the vehicles. One of the cars seized was a custom Bentley that had several bullet holes in its windows, as seen in video footage of the seizure that surfaced online. The IRS has not confirmed an investigation on why 6ix9ine's property was seized, but it's likely to be tax-related. Of the raid, the rapper's attorney said, "We are assessing the situation and will issue a statement at the appropriate time." 6ix9ine, who is currently living in Dominican Republic, has faced legal problems out there also. The Brooklyn native was recently charged on bond after being arrested for domestic violence assault his girlfriend. So, yeah, the vehicle that got seized, the Bentley, was shot up at the window, which was like weird to see. People were speculating that maybe 6ix9ine got shot up and he's in the hospital, you know, probably fighting for his life. That wasn't the case. I don't know where the bullet holes came from, but clearly something happened there. But the cars were getting seized. A tow came out there and started grabbing each vehicle. I think 6ix9ine living in Dominican Republic with the money that he makes, whatever amount he makes, he can live a better life there. It's a lot cheaper to have a good lifestyle over there. So that might be his choice. And he's a lot safer in terms of like anybody in America getting in because of the snitching thing. Any of the Treyway, you know, all those people that got unfortunately locked up because of everything that happened. But, you know, members of Treyway won't be able to get him as easy if he's in Dominican Republic, or he just goes somewhere completely off earth and just kind of just enjoys his life. I don't know. At that point, he's young, so he's got a long life, you know, ahead of him. So a lot of the stuff that he's going to have to do has to be either low key or behind the scenes. Basically, same thing, low key, behind the scenes, same shit. But yeah, like he's probably going to have to invest in companies that people don't know he's invested in, support things that people don't know he supports, because unfortunately, anything he does with his name attached to it, people don't really rock with like that. So yeah, I don't know. We'll keep our eyes posted on this, but you know, money troubles come in when you have a extravagant lifestyle, but you're not bringing in that same amount of money. 6ix9ine hasn't had a hit record in a minute. I don't think he's going to really focus on music like that because, you know, if I was still 6ix9ine, I'll still be dropping music. I don't care. Doesn't matter. Whether I'm doing features with artists, I don't care. I think hits, no matter what you did, a hit record will outweigh all that shit. People will move on from it. I'm not even joking. We've seen it over and over and over again. Gunna got hit with the snitching allegations, even though it wasn't to the extent of 6ix9ine. What does he drop? Fuck you mean? Everybody was loving it. Nobody even questioned any of the snitching stuff anymore. R. Kelly. Come on, we know the story about that. Urinating on an underage female. Hey, remix to Ignition, hot and fresh out. Everybody moved on. Everybody's like, oh, He urinated on an underage girl, had sexual relations potentially with an underage. We don't care. Remix to Ignition, Hot and Fresh Out the Kitchen. Chris Brown pulverizes Rihanna. He still gets flack for it, obviously, but still hit after hit. Whoa, wait, all these records, whatever the fuck he was dropping. He's dropping hit record after hit record. All you got to do is drop hit records, man. 99.9% of the stuff you did will get washed away. People will move on until, like, you just keep doing it, and then it's like, okay, now, like, R. Kelly, had he just, after that happened, had he just never got himself involved in anything else, he would have been good. People would have moved on from it. People would have forgot about it. I would have never fucked with him, period. But regardless, people would have moved on, forgot about it, and that's the situation. So 6ix9ine is literally just one hit. If he just drops a hit, everybody rocks with it. Some Gummo type shit, whatever. I think a lot of people probably don't want to hear this, but Gummo, like those type of records, 6ix9ine had a very, very nice talent for. His voice had an aggressive voice, very, like, it sounded like Onyx, DMX type of style. I loved that from 6ix9ine. Whatever, the snitching stuff, it is what it is, but musically, that sound was really, really nice, man. It was nice to hear somebody aggressive on a record instead of just melodic, single mumbling. Even though he's not the most lyrical rapper, still, the aggressiveness was really nice. I like that about 6ix9ine's music. So, we'll keep our eyes posted and see what happens, but yeah, it's not looking good. 50 Cent, he has been honored with his own day in Shreveport because the guy literally bought like 6 blocks of land. I'm talking fucking, I don't even know how much acres. And he has officially announced / launched G-Unit Studios, film and television in Shreveport. I know some people, oh my God, we posted about this on an Instagram page. Some people in the comments, oh, this is old news. Listen, they had it planned, but this is official announcement of it, guys. Like, official release. 50 was there talking. Top from TDE. Top dropping Give Me 50. Top one and pieced up. Top one and pieced up. Yeah, so he was there, and they were just announcing it, showing rendering images of what they're going to build. And I haven't gotten my invite yet, because if you invite me there, I'm going to cook up some classics. Shit. 50, assign me to that Diddy documentary, because I swear to God, I'll knock that shit out the park. It'll be the great. If what happened to R. Kelly, that ain't shit. Because if I deliver a Diddy Do It documentary, that guy's never going to see the light of day. Ever. Just letting you know. Because I'll deliver some shit that will... Listen, my favorite documentary, and the one that I'm trying to match, if I can deliver something as great as this documentary, I will be happy. I think I've gotten close. I think there's steps that I need to improve on. There's a lot that I need to improve on. But if I deliver a documentary like the OJ Made in America documentary, yes, the OJ Simpson Made it in America, the 30 for 30 ESPN documentary. If you guys have ever seen that, if you haven't seen that documentary, please take out time. Even if you don't care about the OJ Simpson murder thing, or you don't care about OJ Simpson, just watch how they executed that documentary. It touched on racial issues at the time, touched on OJ's life, and the way it pieced it together, and the theme song, and all this shit. It was perfectly executed. To me, I think it might be the best documentary series ever. I could be wrong. I got to think of a lot of those, but I love that. So I could deliver something to that level if you just give me the right pieces. That's all I need. I need some money, because the Get Rich or Die Trying documentary, I put up a lot of my money, but I could have delivered even better on the Get Rich or Die Trying documentary. Had more people been involved, and I had a little bit more money. Regardless, with what I had, I did as best as I could, and I feel I delivered really well on that. But I could deliver there's next levels of stuff, which I'm trying to push myself to. But if 50 said, hey, Quake, get on here, let's get to Shreveport, I will fucking live in Shreveport for the next year if I have to deliver a bomb of Diddy Do It documentary. I will dedicate the next year making sure that is the best documentary piece ever. But that's a whole different story. But what was I going to say? It just slipped my mind because it's something really important too. Yeah, just having the right resources and stuff to do documentaries is going to be a huge, huge thing. I think I executed like the Nipsey, even though the Give Rich or Die Trying one is really, really amazing. The Nipsey one, I love the way I pieced that together with what I had. Like, not having a direct source, that was really well done. And it was received really well. It's at 4.2 million views. So the reception on it was really well. But that's with minimum budget, which is me doing my thing. I experiment with a lot of new things on that. I've been offered after the Give It or Die Trying documentary. I've been blessed and been offered a lot of director slash executive producer roles for a lot of things. And some of them have thrown a lot of money at me. I'm not even joking, guys. Like, I've been thrown money that I've never seen at once ever in my life. But I've declined pretty much everything. There's one that I'm looking at right now, but it's got to be like I have to love the story. I have to love what's going on. Like, for me to get involved, I don't really care about money because money comes and goes. Like, if it was ever about money with me, then I would have took everything that ever came my way. And I've declined on so many things that there are artists that literally offer me $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 to just post their song. But if it's ass cheeks, I'm not going to put my cosign next to it because I view all of you that watch me, listen to me as valuing my opinion. So if I cosign something, I have to genuinely like it. And I never charge an artist to co-sign the record or post, nothing. Never have. I don't think I ever will. I'm not going to say never. I won't ever charge because I think at a certain point, if you really like a record and charge, it could help grow the business and it could be used for other things. So sometimes it's not always bad to do that, but I will never allow money to dictate what I like or feel about something. At one point, this podcast, I was like, should I bring artists on? Like, somebody threw the idea for me, hey, you should just bring unknown artists on your platform and charge them to do interviews. I was like, yeah, would it help the podcast? Would it make it profitable a lot earlier? It took me 3 years to finally make this profitable. Yeah, I would have been profitable probably in the first year if I would have done that. But I wouldn't have been engaged in the conversations. I wouldn't have liked probably 90% of the music that I'm interviewing artists. Everybody that I interviewed actually genuinely liked their music, like to have conversations with them as a person, and just, there you go. Everything else, I'm getting the hiccups here. Everything else, I don't care about the money. If you're giving me $1,000 to interview you, I don't care. That doesn't really do anything for me. $1,000 to me is a lot of money. I could use it in a lot of instances, and it could help with a lot of different things and grow things. But never will you ever see Diverse Mentality as a brand, as a product, as whatever that will just you do it for money. Money comes when you actually show passion and do what you love, and that comes through everything. That bleeds through everything else. Versus the money thing. Who cares? So let's go over this 50 Cent thing. Sorry for going on a rant here. He's been honored with his own day in Shreveport, Louisiana, after opening his G-Unit film and television studios in the city. 50 was also presented with a ceremonial key to the city by Mayor Tom Arsenicks during the ceremony on Thursday, April 18th. At the event, which took place in front of fans, 50 said, "Ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Tom and the wonderful people of Shreveport, it is an honor for me to stand before you today. As someone who's always believed in the transformative power of music, film, and television, I'm really excited to show you the expansion of film and television through G-Unit Studios right here in Shreveport." The Power Mogul also praised the mayor on Instagram, writing, "Mayor Tom really cares about people. I talked to him today. I was really impressed with his energy. I usually be like, wait a minute when politicians are involved, but I think he is a whole good guy." What the fuck? 50 even found time to take a shot at Diddy after posting a picture from the event where a woman can be seen holding up a sign saying Ratchet City, but no Diddy. That is hilarious, man. Ratchet City, but no Diddy. But yeah, the studios look amazing, man. I would love to. It would be my dream to go there and work and, just pump out great content, man. I think I could really be an asset to them, but they haven't. I don't know. I've had people from 50's team watch the Give It or Die Trying documentary, but they haven't. Like, nobody's ever really reached out and said, hey, we want to talk to you. 50 wants to talk to you, whatever. Hopefully that day comes, man. I would love to do that. Now, I do have conditions. Like, if 50 said, hey, you can't cover Ja Rule, or you can't cover Rick Ross, or you have to be, a certain way and stuff. Like, I like creative control, and I don't like limitations. Like, if I ever want to do a documentary on Ja Rule for whatever reason, I wouldn't want 50 coming in and be like, nah, you can't do that because I don't fuck with Ja Rule. Like, that would never fly with me. And I don't think 50 would ever do that, because 50's more about, the story and just getting the real story out there. And he's been like that since he started, which is the good thing. So I don't think 50 would do that, but I'm very a creative control type of person. Like, if I don't really have creative control, I don't want to be involved in it, because at the end of the day, I have a vision too. Now, I'm not saying it's only what I say, that's all that goes, and that's it. Because the Give It or Die Trying documentary, yeah, I had the creative control, the end say of everything, but a lot of people's different inputs were in there that I used. So shout out to Cam and Frank who helped with a lot of that. So it's not like I don't take other people's creative like input, but I do like to have the final say and say, hey, we're gonna do this. We'll take that. We'll put it in here, because if we fail and it's off of your other people's vision, I'm gonna be upset. I'd rather fail off my vision of how I wanted to do things than fail off somebody else's. Because in my mind, I'm gonna be like, damn, if we would have done it my way, we could have probably been better at this or more successful at it. So, yeah, shout out to 50, man, doing big things. He has the second biggest Black-owned film production company studio now, right behind Tyler Perry. So, shout out to him, man. He's doing his thing. 50's really elevated. Continuing on, let's get into the bullshit that you guys are probably all here for. And we're going to start off with Birdman, man. So Birdman stopped by Steve-O's Wild Ride podcast, and he talked about hip-hop beef. And Steve-O asked, hey, do you think hip-hop beef's gotten softer since the 90s? Well, this is what Birdman had to say.
Has hip-hop become soft compared to when you came up?
Fuck no.
Okay.
We was boo. We was cool back then without social media. Now these young niggas killing. It's a different operation. You just gotta know how to adjust either way.
Yeah.
It's a different time from then to now. Back then we ain't have social media, so if you got a problem with a nigga, who gonna know?
Yeah.
Cause you ain't making songs about no nigga. But nowadays with social media, if you got a problem, the whole world gonna know. It's just a different times, and I just hope it get better, bro. I don't want to see people losing their lives, and because that's happening. Yeah. Even niggas rapping or not rapping, people really losing their life over social media.
Yeah, it's crazy. You see them on live saying like, "Here, pull up. This is where I'm at,"
and
they pull up
and splatting. You remember 5? So we got to do better with that, bro. We got to do totally better with that, because we don't want to see that. I don't think that's cause for, but it is what it is, and we can't change it.
Yeah, man.
I agree with Birdman. However, because I think people get this twisted, right? Now in today's time, we can see a lot of violent things in front of our eyes because of social media. So in our minds, because we see it more often, we think it's gotten worse over time. When in reality, if you look at statistics, violence has year after year gone down. But because it's in our face a lot more than the 90s or the early 2000s, when only news stations would report it and you would see it here and there, we think, hey, things have gotten worse, when in reality they haven't. We just have, because of social media, we see a lot of this in front of our face. So that's why we think, oh, it's gotten worse. Birdman, that's what I mean by that, is that Birdman's saying, hey, in the 90s, it wasn't like that. We weren't killing and stuff, but come on, Birdman. You, out of all people, should know we couldn't see everything. We couldn't see, what Diddy was doing, and, all these stories that are coming out now with Diddy. We couldn't see this stuff because no social media, nothing. We just had to go off what people were saying in interviews, had to go off of maybe reports, here and there. That's it. We didn't really have, artists. Lots of podcasts, lots of people's opinions. We didn't have cameras out 24/7. So back then it could have been worse because you can actually hide this stuff. There could have been more killed because less people would get caught. Now, though, I do agree with Birdman on this part, is that hip-hop now, they're just killing each other, and the whole world's getting involved now. They're going public with it. A lot of these younger artists are going on social media, clowning each other, pulling up at each other, shooting each other, killing each other. I do agree on that aspect that it's gotten a lot more violent in hip-hop when it comes to that. But we don't know 100% if it's gotten a lot more violent because, like I said, the 90s, early 2000s, 80s, no cameras there 24/7. I think just a lot more fuel's added to the fire now because of social media. More people comment, oh, go crash it. Like Lil Durk, perfect example. King Von dies. What did you see in Lil Durk's responses on Twitter? Every time Lil Durk would tweet or post on Instagram in the comments, go slide for Von, you're a bitch, you haven't slid for Von. Go get your retaliation for Von. And that eventually, that's going to eventually impact somebody's mental health and think that, hey, these guys all think I'm a bitch. I need to go slide for Vaughn. So that's the kind of bad part about it is everybody has an opinion and jumps in and adds fuel to the fire. Those people are corny, though. Those people are either kids or just don't know, reality in life. That, why would you egg on people murdering each other? Like, you have to be the biggest dweeb loser who's never touched grass to do that type of shit. So Birdman's right on that aspect, but I think a lot of the 90s stuff was just hidden a lot more. We didn't have a lot more access as we do now. But it does seem worse because we see a lot more of it now. But, hip hop, I think, has gotten, on the violent side, it's gotten worse, but on the dissing and record side, it hasn't. It's gotten a lot softer. Now, in 2024, we're seeing a lot of people dissing each other, which kind of has reignited hip hop. It has become more of hey, it's more exciting now. So that aspect of it, I think we've gotten really soft. It's become a lot of DJ Khaled, Kumbaya, Sing by the Fireplace. Let's all show love to each other. Until now, in 2024, where a lot more people are going at each other. So, dope take by Birdman, man. It's always interesting to see his take. And on this podcast, it's a really interesting interview. He talks about, hey, he owns all his masters and hundreds of millions of dollars and all that stuff. And he's forever in business with Drake and all this other stuff. So check it out if you haven't got a chance to. Kanye West, yes, this story is just very funny. That's why I wanted to cover it, because it's hilarious. It doesn't get more Kanye West than this, honestly. So let's go over the article, man. I'm just jump into it. Kanye West has been accused of punching a man in the face for allegedly sexually assaulting his wife, Bianca. According to TMZ, Kanye is the named suspect in a battery report while police investigate whether he physically attacked the man. The alleged incident happened on Tuesday night, April 16th, and came after the culprit allegedly touched Bianca inappropriately. Nobody involved required medical attention. It was initially reported that the man pushed or grabbed Bianca, but West's representative later said grabbed is grossly inadequate as a description of what happened. Bianca was physically assaulted. They added the assailant didn't merely collide into her. He put his hands under her dress directly on her body. He grabbed her waist. He spun her around, and then he blew her kisses. She was battered and sexually assaulted. At this time, Bianca has not filed a sexual assault claim, while Kanye has yet to comment on the incident. Well, the funny thing about this is this. Kanye West has found himself back in the limelight for a bizarre reason, as he reportedly attacked the wrong man in a recent alleged assault. Yes. And here's the twist that, this is hilarious. TMZ spoke to some eyewitnesses who were on hand at the famed Chateau Marmont on Wednesday, April 17th, and their claims about what went down were vastly different from Kanye's. Specifically, the eyewitnesses claimed that a man accidentally ran into West's wife, Bianca, who prompted West to confront the man outside the hotel. West then allegedly punched the person he thought was responsible. But he hit the man's identical twin. Yes, the identical twin, not the alleged perpetrator himself. How unfortunate and how hilarious is that? You're out here defending your wife that just got sexually assaulted, and you punch the twin of the person that did it, not the actual person, the twin. It doesn't get more Kanye than this. It just doesn't. Here's the thing, too, about women is you don't want a woman that wants you to crash out. Like Bianca, yes, she probably got sexually assaulted. All that happened. Unfortunate. But the last thing you should do is get Kanye to do something to the person, because this is going to lead to lawsuits. Like, Kanye is at a high level in his life financially still, even though he lost that whatever $1 billion net worth. He's still worth about $400 million. High level financially, that drag like security guards, drag people that, can't really get sued like directly Kanye. I know Kanye is a man, wants to protect his wife. I get that whole thing, but this is what happens. An identical twin accidentally gets punched instead of the actual person. It's just, you can't write a funnier script than that, man. It's just, I don't know, it's something else. The twins at the center of this version of the run-in, Mark and Johnny Houston, own a series of restaurants in the greater Los Angeles area, but it's not clear which twin allegedly ran into Bianca and which twin, in turn, got hit by West. This account by eyewitnesses is very different from what Kanye's people told the same outlet on the day of the incident. The rap star's team said that the assailant didn't merely run into her. It was way worse. Yeah, so we talked about that. But, Yeah, man. Funny story and article. It's not funny that she got obviously sexually assaulted. It's just funny that Kanye potentially punched literally the wrong twin in the situation. It's like unfortunate. It's like, as twins, if you're a twin, it's like you guys can do things and get the other person caught up in shit because you both look alike. And I've always found that funny, man. Twins in this scenario is just like you control. And Akon and his brother weren't twins, but they looked damn near alike. So you remember Akon saying about, hey, I would get my brother to perform at certain concerts just so we can get more money and collect all the bags. Because he's like, I couldn't perform here and perform there to get all the money. So I just hired my brother, man. Hey, pretend you're me in these concerts. And it worked. And they bagged money. So if you can get away with that, not being a full identical twins, then you can get away with a lot being identical twins. So it's unfortunate, though. That identical twin that didn't do anything got the repercussions for the one that did do something. So, yeah, we'll keep our eyes posted and see if any, lawsuits. I'm sure something's going to pop up out of this when it comes to, getting somebody charged with something. So we'll keep our eyes posted. The battle that most people want me to cover, and I've seen this in the comments on my main channel in Diverse Mentality. People were like, why aren't you covering the Chris Brown Quavo stuff, Quake? Why aren't you doing it? I did it. I've just done it on the podcast and haven't uploaded the clips on the main channel, but I've been covering it. And this battle, because of this new Chris Brown diss track, Weakest Link, has intrigued me enough to do one better than covering it like this. I'm going to do a what really happened on this. And it's not going to be a huge long one because it just started, but that's the point of the what really happened series. It's more about, hey, what's happening right now, and then later down the line, we'll do a who really won once it all settles and things are, years down the line. That's what the who really won is for. When things are settled, that's why on the who really won, I've mainly covered older beefs because they're done, settled, finished. But I'm going to bring that series back. I'm actually probably going to do Jadakiss versus Beanie Siegel. So be on the lookout for that. I know a lot of people are requesting me to do that. So when the who really won comes back, I'm going to do Jadakiss versus Beanie Siegel. That's what I've been focusing on, and then I'll do some other ones in the future down the line. But Chris Brown and Quavo, I want to do what really happened to because it is an interesting story. It's got females involved, and I think, a little deeper dive into that might reveal more things. So, expect that. I don't know when, but expect it pretty soon here. I do have the Diddy $1 million hit. I've actually put a pause on that because of all this beef happening. It would have been out by now, but it just kind of derailed that. And I'm going to wait maybe till May to do a better timing, maybe the Diddy stuff. Once Diddy gets more back in the headlines, I think it'll be a better time to drop that. I haven't finished this. I'm not saying it's done and I'm just holding on to it because I never do that with any of my content. I don't just hold on to it. If I finish it, it's out within like a day or two, literally. I don't, unless I run into copyright issues or anything else, or I want to add more information, then I hold on to it. But other than that, I always drop my stuff immediately. There's nothing that I've held on to. So let's go over the Chris Brown thing. Quavo dropped his diss track, which I believe was called Tender. Might be Tender or I forget, man. I'm already forgetting the track. Tender, yeah. So got it right. So Chris Brown started the dissing back and forth on wax on his album, the 1111 Deluxe. On the track, he dissed him there. Quavo responded with Tender, which was all right. Tender was a decent track. Chris Brown decided to absolutely cook Quavo. And I think a lot of people are making the argument that Chris Brown's diss is the best diss out of all these hip-hop beefs to come out so far. Because Chris Brown ain't singing on this shit. He's rapping his ass off. And I knew Chris Brown could rap when he absolutely destroyed 50 on No Romeo, No Juliet. He cooked him. Cooked him. But who shot at him? Whatever the fuck he says on there, motherfucker cooked. All right? So he's cooking on this bitch too. So let's go over this track. Released the Weakest Link just this past Friday. And the cover is hilarious. Just off the cover alone, I'm like, damn, this guy got him. Weakest Link, and it's a photo of Quavo basically, I don't even know, glazing a hot dog. And he's literally taking that whole hot dog in his mouth. No Diddy. It's looking very weird in the photo. So that's the cover art. Very, very dope. But Chris Brown addresses Quavo having a thing with his ex-girlfriend, Karrueche. And in turn, he claims he slept with Sweetie while she was still in a relationship with Quavo. Yeah, it's deeper than rap, or deeper than R&B/rap. He said this: "You fucked my ex-hoe. That's cool. I don't give a fuck. little guy, or little N-word, basically says, because I fucked your ex when you were still with her. Bitch, I'm up. Little guy, this guy doesn't give two fucks, man, clearly. He then turns the heat all the way up by name dropping Takeoff, which was, I mean, it's a battle, man. At the end of the day, he didn't say anything disrespectful to Takeoff, but he did drag him into it. Unfortunately, Takeoff obviously passed away, got killed. So he said this: rest in peace, Takeoff. He's the only real one I got true respect for. Crazy how when he died, everybody really wished it was you instead. Ooh. And here's the thing. This is interesting in these bars because he said that's the only real one. Meaning out of the Migos, I don't fuck with Quavo, and I do not fuck with how am I forgetting? Takeoff, Quavo, and Offset. So he's saying I don't fuck with Quavo and Offset. They're not real. So maybe Offset's gonna get dragged into this because off that bar, he's saying only Takeoff is the real one. You two other motherfuckers off the Migos, garbage. And the sad thing about this beef, because like I said, I want to do what really happened. I wanted to get more into this, and I was looking into a lot of different things. Chris Brown was really bigging up the Migos. Like, he co-signed them a lot early on. He was saying they're one of the best hip-hop groups out. Like, he was co-signing, showing love to them a lot early on. Potentially the most out of everybody, to be honest with you. So this turn of events is surprising, to say the least. So let's go a little bit more over these bars. The verse starts out, okay, let's get down to facts. Pussy, I'm dripped in red. Basically claiming Bloods, like he's always claimed. Don't let this R&B shit fool you. You get ripped to shreds, right? Quavo talking like he a thug. You a bitch with dreads. Can't wait to see the day that you back up all that shit you said. What's all this ball shit you talking? You ain't no huncho. He calls himself huncho. You're the weakest link in our clique. Let's keep it 100. And your clique. Let's keep it 100. You fuck my exo. Let's go. We went over this. They say my revenge is sweet. Revenge is sweet. Think about this. He said, now think about that shit. Sweetie. Revenge. Sweetie. Quavo's ex. Sweetie. Very dope. He said, don't let that line go over your head. I might just sing about that shit. I ain't gonna lie. If he drops another diss track singing about smashing Sweetie, that's the thing, man. It's hard to go up against a guy who can sing and rap like Drake because you can deliver different types of melodies cooking somebody. I had her feeling about this dick. There's something sweet about that shit. I got some tea about that bitch, but I ain't gonna speak about that shit. Women are known to be pillow talkers, so there might be information that Chris Brown might have more that he might start cooking Quavo if Quavo responds. Because the ball's in Quavo's court right now. It's looking bad for Quavo. I'm not even going to lie. That tender diss track wasn't that. It was all right. But Quavo got to come back with a lot harder, something way harder than this, because this record is hard. This might be like I said, it might be the best diss track out of all these battles that are going on right now. I ain't playing chess with the checker player. I'm a ticking time bomb on the detonator. I shit on guys. I'm a defectator. I'll put a Migo on a ventilator. That's insane. Stop talking about beating girls. You was beating bitches on the elevator. We seen the tapes. That's devastating. They got into it, Sweetie and Quavo, a while ago. Footage on the elevator came out. So technically both of them are putting hands on women regardless. You doing bad, you a bitch, and your music trash. Fashion Week, they sat me next to your lame ass. I was truly mad. All I kept thinking about was breaking your face, and I gave you a pass. You're lucky I ain't want to fuck up my money, boy. I would have broke you in half. Quavo and Chris Brown did get seated next to each other at a fashion show. And everybody was like, what the fuck? They got beef with each other. They hate each other. Why didn't anything pop off? Well, I mean, doing it right there at that moment, that's the difference between real beef and just, hip hop, whatever, wax on dissing tracks. Because think about it. What if, I always go back to 50 because 50 to me is the king of beefs. He's been through a lot of stuff. He's vetted. What if 50 say in a lot of these beats? He says, I don't give a fuck. I'll do it in front of the right of the cameras. It doesn't matter to me. I got lawyers. What if 50 do at the BT Awards 2007? Ran through the stage looking for people. You guys don't remember that moment? Go to the 2007 awards where he quote unquote forgot the lyrics to Amusement Park and checked everybody. Because Pimp C even said it. Rest in peace to him. He was like, 50 checked everybody. Ain't nobody do shit. All this talking people were doing. Do it right in front of the cameras. We're right here. Do it. But he's always said that. I'll do it right in front of the cameras. I don't care. So is this beef really beef if you're sitting right next to the guy and nothing pops off? Chris Brown saying I didn't want to fuck up my money, so that's why I didn't do it. Respectable, but he did comment on, like, when the photo came out and people were wondering, he said, can't pick who you sit with. Fuck all that growth shit. Not going to fumble my bag for little guys. Continuing on the lyrics, he said, quit trying to be tough. You ain't like that. Why you keep showing off? Quit talking about drugs. You only pack that I've been smoking on. I just hit my plug, told him come back. I need more than one. Your last album was a weed trade, just some bullshit that we roll up on. To be fair, Chris Brown's got way more hits than Quavo. Quavo, it's going to be interesting if Quavo can continue his career without the Migos officially being, they're officially done because Takeoff has passed away, unfortunately. It's on, put you to bed, night, that's Sudafed. Show me that I'm tender, bitch. Time to prove what you just said. And then he says, RIP Takeoff, which we went over that bar. Crazy how when he died, everybody was really wish you said. He said, you tripping, Chris. Don't say that. We don't lose your head. You don't turn the big bad wolf on. These fuck guys never knew revenge. This what happens when a fuck guy push a real guy out the edge. This what happens when a dumb guy get fame and get it to his head. You gonna kiss the ring. Big fuck you for my middle finger. I'll tattoo my trigger finger. Bring real beef to your dinner table. My mental state ain't never stable. I know this shit gonna sting. I'll run your ass through the ringer. You just got bought by a singing guy. Yeah. And he says, well, smoke with me. Shout out to what's that guy's name? I already forgot his name. That record. But hey, man, completely cooked him. It's gonna be interesting to see what Quavo comes back with, but I'm more interested in the story. I like the behind the scenes of this shit. Something's going on with the pillow talking to women. A lot of this stuff I think has to do with a lot of women, man. A lot of these beefs, man. Believe it or not. Now, some of it might have to do with a lot of contracts, and people are throwing up conspiracy theories that Drake owns percentages, a lot of these guys, and they're mad and salty about it. That stuff I don't really believe. I think Drake has business, and we'll talk about this on Kanye's Like That remix, because he talks about, Drake's contract with Lucian or whatever his name is. But I don't think that conspiracy theory of Drake owning a lot of stuff like that, I don't think that would have caused a lot of people to crash out in a way. I think a lot of it has to do with animosity that's built towards Drake for just constantly being on top. That's another thing. That builds up, man. Look at Metro Boomin. He was mad about, his Heroes and Villains album not getting praised as much as Drake's Her Loss with 21 Savage. So there is animosity. When you're constantly on top, there is some animosity where, like, what the fuck? Like, I can't ever get shit love for all the stuff I'm doing because this guy's always dominating. And Drake's been dominating for a long-ass time, and it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. That Push-Ups record is probably going to break Taylor Swift's record of having 10 songs on the top 10 on the Billboard Hot 100. She's about to do that. She's about to do over 2-something million first week, 3 million, 4 million potentially. And she's about to be probably the first artist ever to have 1 through 10 of her songs in the top 10 on the Hot 100. But Drake is looking like he's actually going to break that with the Push-Ups record. So we'll see. But that building that animosity of hate towards people because they're always succeeding, then potentially females, maybe a female might like Drake more or Chris Brown more. That female thing gets involved. And then behind the scenes, just who knows, man, disagreements with things, maybe deals, maybe things like that, cease and desist like French Montana, the Rick Ross thing that he's mentioning. A lot of things. It could be a lot of things. But I think women have a lot to do with this, man. Especially in this Chris Brown Quavo thing. So I'm going to go look into it. I'll do what really happened into it. Expect it pretty soon here. And we'll see, man. I'm not going to, if I find something, I'll definitely make a video on it. But right now I'm deep diving. I'm trying to see, and I'm finding some things here and there. So more than likely a video is going to come with it. But we'll keep our eyes posted on it, man. Chris Brown cooked him. We'll see what Quavo comes back with. It's very interesting, to say the least, at least. Before we continue, I want to give a shout out to Golden Eagle for sponsoring this podcast. Yes, if it wasn't for Golden Eagle, this podcast wouldn't be possible. If you're looking for an energy drink that doesn't tear a hole in your pocket, Golden Eagle energy drink is the one you want to get. Golden Eagle has the smoothest taste with no aftertaste. You don't get acid reflux when you drink it, and you will save a lot of money. So check out Golden Eagle at drinkgoldeneagle.com/DMP. The link is in the description below. And how do you think this podcast would be possible without me having energy to do it? Come on, guys. You guys got to remember this. I need energy to do this stuff, man, because there's a lot of crazy topics. So look how smooth this thing sounds. Look at it. Oh my God, it's fresh. Look at that Golden Eagle. Look at the can. It's so beautiful too, man. Look at that. That's so fresh, man. So fresh. Golden Eagle energy drink. Go to the link description below. That's drinkgoldeneagle.com/DMP. Let's continue the episode. Kanye West, being the narcissist he is, has decided to insert himself in this battle between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. And I'm all here for it, guys. I'm not even lying. I love this. Drake and Kanye have actually been having issues for quite some time. So I'm all for this. Kanye does not like Drake, even though they get together and they hate each other. Then they get together again. It's like an on and off thing. They've had a great relationship early on. Drake has always praised Kanye as an inspiration to his career. Things went left at certain points. Rumors of Drake sleeping with Kim Kardashian and all these other things. Well, Kanye has decided, hey, I'm Team Kendrick. Let's all team up and let's cook this light-skinned Aubrey guy. And this Like That remix is very interesting because when it first came out, people assuming AI. Once again, I could tell, and I've always nailed this. I'm sorry for bragging about this, guys. It's just a talent that I have that I love. I could tell it wasn't AI. Automatic off the bat, I could tell it wasn't AI. But here's the but. The version that Adam22 from No Jumper was previewing had a couple bars in there going at Kendrick. But when Kanye premiered the Like That remix, the official version, those bars were taken out. So we'll go over that. But first, let's go over the official version that Kanye has released that everybody loves and wants to talk about. So let's go over the lyrics on that. The intro starts out like this. We had to get the hooligans up here. We gonna take this pussy guy out. Yo, Dot, I got you. Saying Kendrick Lamar, I got you. Continuing on, this is Kanye's verse. Can't stop, won't stop. I just fucked your bitch in a Sean John tank top. Diddy, referencing Diddy here. And I don't know how Kanye really feels about Diddy, even though he considers himself, he mentioned himself as Diddy on, I forget what record on the Vultures. It might be the Carnival. Yeah, Carnival record. And so I don't know if this is a shot at Diddy, just trolling that Kanye does. But continuing on, he says, you treat a bad bitch like she average. I treat a bad bitch like a fat bitch. Hilarious bars. Shouldn't have never let me get money again. On my Cat Williams when they get funny again. Yeah, you see they try to count me out. I like that. We just hit a number one. We right back talking about carnivals. Yeah, everybody tried to cancel Kanye. Hey, didn't seem to work because Carnival went number one and he did it independently. So you got to salute him for that. 500 down the bottom, 500 up at the top. Titanium grills, call that smile on the rocks. He's talking about his grill that he has. He spent $1 million apparently on that grill. Shit looks like tinfoil, but whatever. Kanye, shout out to you for, I guess, flexing. I done had everything that you able to got. I invented drill too. I ain't gonna lie. It was Chop. Shout out to Young Chop. Young Chop on the beat. I missed his production, and I missed the work that Young Chop and Chief Keef did. But yeah, once Chief Keef and Young Chop came along, they're the ones that really made drill. So Kanye just kind of having fun with this. Another one, volume 1. Then it's 2 and 3, Vultures on repeat. That's Ty Dolla $ign talking here. Still feel like Pablo, drug dealer chick. Pluto sent the drones. It hit like Metro Beats. I love the little pum pum in the remix. Really fire. It's a rap for guys, he said. This is where the interesting bars come in. Where's Lucian? Serve your master. You caught a little bag for your masters, didn't you? Lifetime deal. I feel bad for guys. You also out of sight, out of mind. So hold on. Lucian, if you don't know, is the CEO of Universal Music Group. Lucian, which honestly I would never do a deal with a guy's name that's Lucian. Sounds like Lucifer. So I would stay the fuck. That's just my paranoia. If I try to do a deal or a contract of a long term with a guy named Lucian, that sounds like the devil. So stay away from anybody named Lucian, for the matter. If your name is Lucian, I feel sorry for you. But I'm not judging prematurely, but I am judging prematurely. Drake, now here's the thing. So he says, where's Lucian? Serve your master. You caught a little bag for your masters, didn't you? Lifetime deal. I feel bad for guys. What is he referring to here? So Drake in 2022 made a deal with Universal Music Group, and it was the biggest single deal ever by an artist since Michael Jackson. So yes, Drake is at that level. It is a LeBron-sized, multifaceted deal with Universal Music Group. And it came out that it is literally astronomical numbers of $400 million, or at least in the vicinity of that. So let's go over this article. Since 2014, Drake has moved over 37 million album project units. He's also the first ever artist to surpass 50 billion combined streams with Spotify. To estimate that Drake's music brings in $50 million annually is no stretch. Say sources, and that deal could be in the vicinity of 400 million or more isn't either. Now, later on, it did. I think the deal, because this article, let me see. The deal did confirm that it was $400 million. According to Variety, the Scorpion Kings deal with Universal was completed in 2021, though details are just now beginning to emerge about the extent of the deal. The outlet reports that Aubrey was issued a check for $400 million in a deal that includes everything from song recordings to visual projects. So let's go a little bit more over the article. The deal, similar to the one The Weeknd signed with the media giant, puts Drake in the Republic Records camp. Once more, the deal is on par with some of the biggest deals in history. For example, according to Insider, Prince signed a $100 million deal with Warner Brothers, and the legendary Whitney Houston signed a $100 million deal with Artista, with hers being the largest deal in the label's history. Jay-Z's $150 million Live Nation deal in 2008 also made the cut, as did Lil Wayne's $100 million Cash Money deal in 2012. And prior to Drake's historic deal, Michael Jackson held the top spot as having the largest deal in music history, with $250 million going to his estate in 2010 from Sony. So Michael Jackson wasn't even alive to get that. From this rubric, it seems like Drake has signed the largest deal in music history, but let's take a closer look at the details of the historic deal, $400 million. Simply put, they said it's a 360 deal on steroids. Kendall Mittner wrote a book about the Evolution's 360 deal. Basically, they get every 360 deal, put in simple terms, they get a part of everything that you do. Anything. Merch, CDs, digital streams, anything. Masters, recordings, all that. The thing is, though, right? We don't know how long the deal is for. Kanye's saying it's a lifetime deal, which he should say, just to clown Drake. I mean, it makes sense. If you're going to diss somebody, say, hey, you signed your life away for your life. You're a slave. Louisiana owns you. But there are also rumors that Drake Gamma, that record label that actually pushed out Rick Ross's and Meek Mill's album, it's like an independent little label that's pushing out a lot of artists' music. There are reports that Drake owns a percentage of that label, and he's getting percentages there. So Drake potentially could have signed this deal with getting percentages of other companies and deals that Universal own, because Universal owns a lot of labels. They're a huge powerhouse when it comes to labels. And here's the thing, right? First, let me make this very clear, because I know a lot of people this is where I could tell people don't understand anything. Rick Ross claiming that he's richer than Drake, 100% false. This deal alone is worth more than Rick Ross anything that he has, period. $400 million, Rick Ross is never going to see that when it comes to music deals. I don't care what he can sell his whole entire catalog. The guy struggles to go platinum. That's just my shots at Rick Ross, but it's facts. It's not even just shots. It's reality. It's facts. William is not going to see those type of numbers. Regardless, so that whole rich thing, that's why Drake shut off the record. Doesn't care. Doesn't matter. The thing about this Drake deal that's interesting is Drake just got off of delivering his most successful album to date with Scorpion. Yeah, it didn't sell the most first week, but if you look at the records, God's Plan, I believe, is Diamond. Let's go over a lot of these numbers. And it produced like, I think three or five top 10 hits off the album. We talked about this on the podcast a while ago. I just can't remember all this stuff. So let's go. Bad Boy got some updates on their streaming. The I Don't Want to Know just got updated in sales. Platinum now. So cool. Anyways, let's go over this Drake stuff. So Nice for What off Scorpion is 9 times platinum, damn near diamond. This got certified October 30th, 2023. God's Plan, 16. This is about to be a double diamond song off Scorpion, which is October 30th, 2023. In My Feelings, Kiki, Do You Love Me, Are You Riding, 8 times platinum. So Drake is going to have 3 songs that are diamond off this album sometime soon. You know how insane that is? The album itself is 7 times platinum. So that album is Drake's biggest success. Views is 8 times. Yeah, but Views was out for 2 years longer than Scorpion. So Views had a success too. You know, Drake's had a success in a lot of albums. I'm just saying, none of Drake's albums has produced 3 diamond singles or potential 3 diamond singles. One's about to be double diamond. So Drake's coming off of that huge success. He did drop the Darkling demo tapes, but that's not an album, you know, off of Drake's thing. So the deal was done in 2021. Certified Lover Boy came out later in 2021. So I'm sure they finished the deal and then Certified Lover Boy came out. So they're going off of Scorpion. They're saying, this guy just done astronomical sales and numbers. Whatever Drake wants is Drake's going to get. I doubt he got screwed in this deal. I'm going to be 100%. One, I don't think Drake's dumb enough to get screwed in a deal because Drake is Drake. Come on, guys. We know business-wise, I think he's a smart individual. 2, Drake's the hottest thing at that moment right there. Period. Maybe Taylor Swift's the only one. That's it. So when you're that hot, you can demand things. You can say, hey, I want this, and you're going to give me this, and this is how things are going to go. Or I'll go to somebody else who's actually giving it to me. So I don't think Drake just got $400 million. He got screwed all over, and they're taking all of his money, and that's it. I just refuse to believe that. Now, does he have a boss? Does he have an owner? Yes. That's something that Kanye can proudly say he doesn't have, which I salute Kanye. This is what I'm saying. If Drake went independent, that $400 million he'd make easily. And in order, here's the thing, too. In order for a label to offer you $400 million, they have to see that you can bring in $400 million. Drake's music, just out of random estimates, they said brings in $50 million. Let's just say $50 million every year he brings in off of music solely. 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350, $400 million. 8 years, you'd bring in that $400 million they gave him. Let's just say they signed a 10-year deal and they get $600 million back. Or let's just say they did it. Never mind. They did a 10-year deal and they get $500 million back. So they make $100 million off that. So let's just say Drake did a 10-year deal of $400 million, and they recoup that $400 million plus $100 million on top of that. That makes pretty logical sense, and it's easy numbers to compute. But I'm sure it could be a potentially longer deal. I'm not saying most music industry deals in the long terms are 5 to 10 years, maybe 15. We're not talking album deals here where you have to deliver 5 albums and you're stuck for this, blah, blah, blah. We're just talking like masters and all this other shit that's going on. So it's a nice flex for Kanye to say, you know, I don't have a slave. I have my own masters. I have everything now. But Drake, it's not like Drake just got screwed out of the deal and nothing positive came out of it. $400 million is, come on, guys. How many rappers or how many artists, period, are ever going to see deals like that? They just broke it down that Drake's got the biggest deal, period, right now. Taylor Swift, I'm sure, has got, I don't even want to get into her because she's like on an astronomical level that Drake can't even fathom. But, you know, it's a nice flex. I like that. I love those bars. That is a nice disrespect towards Drake. I salute Kanye for that because Kanye is not under a deal, and he went number 1. That's a lot harder, way harder, especially if he was canceled, than Drake doing what he's doing because Universal is going to back him like he's got a machine backing him. Not to say that he's dropping bad music because he's still dropping hits. Doesn't matter what kind of machine you got. If you drop ass, it's going to be hard to push that. Continuing on, and the verse says, y'all so out of sight, out of mind. I can't even think of a Drake line. And this is the hilarious. This got me bursting out laughing. Play J. Cole, get the pussy dry. Play this shit back 130 times. So J. Cole got shots from Kanye because J. Cole went at him false prophets, I think in 2016 it was released. And Kanye never really addressed it. So I think he's seeing J. Cole as bait, as something easy target because J. Cole apologized to Kendrick. Now, J. Cole, please, if you're listening to this, you have a chance to redeem yourself. After getting clowned for apologizing to Kendrick, you have a chance to redeem yourself here. You can go at Kanye, and it's a perfect opponent for you, man. Perfect. Please go at Kanye, respond, clown him, because Kanye reactivated his Instagram, showed a meme of, it's like a cartoon meme of, yeah, it shows this girl, there's like girl drawn with a bunch of big tits, and she says, you listen to J. Cole? He says no, and then she's just blowing him. after that, basically saying J. Cole's music is ass, that like if you don't listen to it, you're just going to get free pussy. And then he says, dry pussy if you listen to J. Cole's music. You're going to get women not liking you at all. So that was a funny bar and a nice little jab at J. Cole. I think this is a perfect opportunity for J. Cole to actually go at somebody after all that best rapper alive talk. Go at Kanye, man. Cook him. Do your thing, J. Cole. I want a diss track. Go back at him. This is the perfect opportunity to redeem yourself. We know you didn't want to go at Kendrick because you guys used to be friends. You guys are probably still friends. But Kanye, you've had issues with them. You called them out false prophets. Let's get this going. Let's get this show on the road. So shout out to Kanye for doing that. Now, that's it for that verse. But on the version that Adam 22 previewed, there is bars going at Kendrick Lamar. So I think Kanye, being the kind of not really bipolar, he gets in the moment and things, and then he probably just decided to take it out. So this is what was spit in the version that was originally supposed to come out. These are the lines. Let's go over them. They're not mentioned in this Genius thing, but this is what was supposed to be spit. You can't really tell what Kanye is saying, but he says, trying to be on his best behavior. Now I got to get on Kanye West behavior. Kendrick spazzed out. That was the best he gave you. But y'all knew y'all had to save the best for later, saying I can deliver better disses towards Drake, J. Cole, than Kendrick has. But he ultimately took this out of the song because he wants to side with Kendrick going at Drake. So that was interesting that he chose that last minute and that version still came out. I don't know how Kendrick's going to feel about that. I don't think he's going to really, hearing that and the fact that it came out, I don't think he's really going to fuck with Kanye like that. I could be wrong. We haven't heard a single peep from Kendrick after all this, by the way. So, we don't know what Kendrick's thinking. We don't know if he's going to go at J. Cole still, even though J. Cole apologized. He might still cook him and go at him, but we don't know. But shout out to Kanye, man, for getting himself somehow involved in this and doing his thing. And I think he cooked Drake with that owner's label stuff, and he one-lined J. Cole, and J. Cole's got to respond, man. Do something about this. So we'll keep our eyes posted and see if anything happens. If there's anything that indicates a 2024 hip-hop battle, this is it. Drake has decided to drop another diss track towards Kendrick Lamar, and he's not letting his foot off of Kendrick's neck. And this diss track is unique because this diss track is using AI voices. And no, it's not Drake's AI voice. We're talking Tupac and Snoop Dogg. Yes, Drake used Tupac and Snoop Dogg's AI voice to pretend like he's them going at Drake, like as if they're speaking to Kendrick Lamar of how to attack Drake, which is some wild 2024 shit. This would have never happened 10 years ago, but here we are in 2024, where AI now is being utilized as a tool to go against somebody. But it's utilized in a smart way, I think, at least, and I'll talk about more about why it's a smart strategy that Drake used after I review over the lyrics. So this track is titled Tailor Made Freestyle. It's in honor of Taylor Swift dropping her album. Basically, in the track, Drake is saying that, listen, the only reason you're not releasing your diss track is because Taylor Swift dropped her album, and you don't want to be outshined by Taylor Swift in terms of streams, sales, whatever. So now he's like, we're going to have to wait longer for you to release a diss. And Drake has been taunting day in and day out Kendrick Lamar to drop a diss track responding. Drake has said he has a red button to push, meaning I have a track ready to go that's going to destroy Kendrick and everybody around him. That's what Drake's confirmed. That's how Drake feels. When Drake dropped the push-ups track initially, or when it leaked online, people thought it was AI, but now officially Drake stood on business and released the track on streaming platforms for everybody to listen to, and that confirmed that, hey, this is officially 100 million% a Drake diss track, because people still weren't convinced, even though Drake sent Academics the CD quality version on for Academics to stream, and Drake basically taunted Kendrick's stream throughout the weeks. With the crazy Drake taunts, he started taunting Kendrick Lamar's manager, just posting random things, clowning Kendrick and his team, and saying, where you guys at? Throwing up little turtle emojis saying you guys are slow, it's taking forever. So Drake is having fun with this, and the fact that Kendrick Lamar hasn't responded yet. I mean, the only reason people were pressuring Drake to drop is because Drake previously did that to Meek Mill, where he was saying, I waited for days, where y'all at, and all that stuff. So that's why a lot of people criticize Drake and not responding quicker. But Kendrick has never pressured anybody into responding quickly when he was battling with them or anything. So, Kendrick can take his time, but I think after this second diss track, it's going to change a lot of people's minds, and it's going to look at Kendrick like, hey, drop this track already. What's taking forever? So let's go over the actual lyrics. They're very interesting because the first verse is Tupac, literally AI Tupac voice talking to Kendrick Lamar. And if you guys remember on Kendrick Lamar's Mortal Man to Pimp a Butterfly album, he talks to Tupac, and those are actual Tupac vocals in that track because back then there wasn't no AI, and he's talking about being the savior of this and that. And basically Drake, addresses that West Coast savior thing with the Tupac AI as well as the Snoop Dogg AI. That, hey, you're this West Coast savior, and you're ducking smoke from a Canadian, a light-skinned Canadian at that. So let's go over the bars. So it starts out, Illuminati, God rises again. You can see it in my eyes again. That's Tupac saying that. This is the first verse. Tupac is saying all of this, by the way. Kendrick, we need you, the West Coast savior, engraving your name in some hip-hop history if you deal with this viciously. You seem a little nervous about all the publicity. Fuck this Canadian light-skin dot. We needed undebated West Coast victory, man. Call him a bitch for me. Talk about him liking young girls as a gift for me. Heard it on Button Podcast. It's got to be true. The interesting thing, not only in these AI parts, is that Drake actually wrote all this stuff. I mean, you can tell by just the way it's written that Drake actually did this stuff. Now, that's not 100% confirmed. I don't know. Maybe in a couple days, Drake will confirm it. But definitely, the way this is written, it's like Drake's writing, the way his style is, at least. And this is why I'm saying Drake is smart in doing this AI stuff. I know it's corny to do AI, but in the way Drake used this, it's a smart way of using it because, he flipped the whole AI script to people thinking he was using AI to respond to Kendrick. Flipped that over and decided, hey, I'm going to actually show you guys what AI is and how to use it properly in a battle, which is genius. So there's been rumors of Drake dating or liking underage girls, and him with that one Bobby girl from Stranger Things. Drake had dated her, went on or tried to set up a cute date, something like that. There were rumors. There's a bunch of rumors of Drake liking really, really younger girls, and it was talked about on Joe Budden's podcast. So in these bars, he's saying, listen, use that against Drake. He's basically pretending to be Tupac, telling Kendrick Lamar, use that against Drake. And, since I heard it on Joe Budden's podcast, it must be true. So he's taken the 8 Mile Eminem approach that, hey, whatever you're going to throw at me, I'm already going to say in this through Tupac and Snoop Dogg's voice. So continuing on, he says, they told me the spirit of Machiavelli is alive in the guy under 5'5". This is Kendrick. So it's got to be you. I would beef the whole fucking game. It was me and Snoop Dogg have my fucking shirt off in the House of Blues. K, you got to fuck this guy's girl. He got to get abused. All that shit about burning tattoos, he is not amused. That's jail talk for real thugs. You got to be you. Now he's basically punking Kendrick Lamar, saying, you're not this street guy. The stuff that you're rapping about, nah, you can't take that approach of being a gangster, snatching chains and burning tattoos. That's not going to happen. Continuing on, it says, gotta leave this motherfucker broken and bruised before we really lose. You asked for the smoke. Now I seen you too busy for the smoke. I won't lie, the people confused. Now you about to give this shit another week and fall back to homegirl who running numbers up. Now he's talking about Taylor Swift here. I would have refused. These industry relationships, she's not in your shoes. You're supposed to be the boogeyman. Go do what you do. Unless this is a moment that you tell us this not really you. In that case, there's nothing left to say. I just pass it to Snoop. This is Drake taunting, saying, hey, just because you're friends with Taylor Swift, you can still drop your songs. You're not going to ruin her first week sales and her first week charting numbers. Drop it. Drop the song. That's what he's taunting. That's what Drake wants to do. Taunt Kendrick into releasing something. Because I think, and Drake has said, he's got something in the chamber that's really going to blow Kendrick out the water. That's how Drake's feeling. And honestly, you got to respect the aggressive nature of Drake right now. I was clowning him for being an IG thought, dropping all these captions, and not responding to Kendrick. Now that he's responded with an official diss track with push-ups, and now this diss track, it's reminding me of the whole Meek Mill situation, where Drake dropped Charged Up and then dropped back-to-back within 2 days. So it's looking like the same thing. So this is all of Tupac's verse and well executed. Now it gets passed on to Snoop Dogg, and this is verse 2. This is what Snoop Dogg had to say. Nephew, what the f*** you really about to do? We passed you the torch in the House of Blues. So if you guys don't remember, this is a while ago, but probably like 2012. I want to say 2010, 2011, somewhere around there. Kendrick was at the House of Blues. Game was there, Snoop Dogg, quite a few West Coast legends, and they basically passed him the crown and said, you're the next West Coast guy. You're our next king in the West Coast. And Kendrick's been running with that ever since. And Drake is clowning, Kendrick through Snoop Dogg's AI voice, saying, we gave you this crown and you're ducking the smoke. And now you got to do some dirty work. You know how to move right? I know you never been to jail or wore jumpsuits and shower shoes. Never shot nobody, never stabbed nobody, never did nothing violent, and know when it's the homies that empower you. So now he's, once again, calling back to Kendrick's gangsta, verse that he had and like that, saying burning, snatching chains and burning tattoos. He's saying, you're not really like that, man. Get back to your conscious rap. It's ironic coming from Drake, considering Drake never came from that background either, and then Drake has a lot of mob ties type of bars and stuff like that. So, Drake calling that out is not really the best person to be calling that out, because Drake, his history, he's a Canadian, actor that came from a middle-class family that didn't have to really struggle like that. He's never had that really. Now that Drake's at the level that he's at, he's got a lot more. He's surrounded more with a lot more mob ties with Jay Prince and all that stuff. So Drake's got that, when he talks about that mob stuff, he's surrounded by it, but is it really Drake himself? That's so calling Kendrick out on that is kind of, not the correct person to be doing that, but whatever. That's the shots that Drake is taking. Continuing on, it says, but still, you got to show this owl who's the boss in the West. Now's the time to really make a power move, because right now it's looking like you writing out the game plan on how to lose. Okay, how to bark up the wrong tree and then get your head popped in a crowded room. Drake is going for the head here. World is watching this chess game, but you out of moves. You know that the OG never fucking doubted you. But right now, it seems like you posted up without a clue of what the fuck you about to do. So another question I have is, did Snoop Dogg get like a word that Drake is going to do a Snoop Dogg AI voice? Or did Drake just be like, fuck it, I'm going to do it regardless? I know some people are saying that Snoop's going to have a cease and desist on this, or whatever the case may be. Snoop can potentially do that, but I doubt he will. I think Drake's having fun with this. This song is not going to end up on streaming platforms. It can't, simply because of the AI stuff. But Drake's just having fun with this battle. He's saying, listen, I'm out here like Tupac, running around gangsta. I'm calling you out day in and day out, and we haven't gotten a diss in response yet. So, he's doing his thing. That was Snoop Dogg's verse, and now verse 3 is Drake himself talking. So this is what Drake had to say. Yeah, Unc, that's the truth, talking about what Snoop Dogg just said. I'm definitely about to come around the Lang Gang and let my fucking bowel move. Shitting on you guys from a whole different altitude. Basically, he's talking about PG Lang, Kendrick's label. I'm going to shit on you guys. High up in the skyline like I'm Howard Hughes. The first one only really took me an hour or two. The next one is really about to bring out the coward in you. Saying push-ups was nothing. That was light work. This next one about to cook you. About to cook you, man. Now he brings in Taylor Swift, drags in Taylor Swift to this. But now we got to fucking wait a week because Taylor Swift is your new top. Saying Taylor Swift is the one that dictates when you drop because you're scared you're not going to do numbers when you drop, that you're not going to be on the charts because Taylor Swift's going to beat you. And he's talking like, hey, Taylor Swift is now your new person that dictates when you drop, just like Top was when you were signed to TDE. And if you about to drop, she got to approve. This girl really about to make you act like you not in a feud. She tailor-made your schedule with Ant. Ant is Kendrick Lamar's manager. You out of the loop. Hate all you corporate industry puppets. I'm not in the mood. I love it when you guys talk loose like I'm not in the room. Now, this is where he addresses more of Kendrick's like that verse. He says, since like that, your tone changed a little. You not as enthused. How are you not in the booth? It feel like you kind of removed. You trying to let this shit die down. Nah, not this time, guy. You following through. Drake is saying, nah. Doesn't matter if weeks go by, months go by. I'm still going to be applying pressure because I'm not going to let this slide. And this is what you got to respect about Drake. He knows this is an NBA championship moment. This is a Game 7 moment. And who wins this gets the championship. Because I think he's tired of everybody propping up Kendrick Lamar to be this great artist who competes with Drake when Drake's been a lot more consistent. I think that's how he views it, at least. I'm not saying that in my opinion. I'm just saying that's how he probably views it, that, hey, year in and year out, I'm delivering albums, I'm delivering hits, but yet I get compared to this guy. Now's my chance to prove that I can smoke this guy, that this guy is nothing to me. And so far, Drake is delivering that. He's applying pressure, even though he drops a lot of IG stuff. Dropped another track now, so we can't just say he's not dropping music. There's no narrative of that. So continuing on, I guess you need another week to figure out how to improve. What the fuck is taking so long? We waiting on you. The rest of y'all are definitely involved. Y'all getting it too. Soon as you get the courage to drop, I'm out on the loose. So even though this is mainly directed at Kendrick, he lets everybody else, Weeknd, Future, Rick Ross, ASAP Rocky, Metro Boomin, Low, no, hey, the rest of y'all definitely involved. Y'all getting it too. So once I get this big fry out of the way, Kendrick, and I cook him, I'm going after the rest of you guys. And that's the energy that we love. That's Drake is delivering, man. Whether you want to clown him for this or that, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. He's delivering right now. We haven't heard from Kendrick, and I personally don't think he should respond yet. Let Kendrick take his time. I have no issue with it. But Drake is going to keep applying pressure, it seems like, no matter what. So then Drake has an outro where he talks, and he basically bigs up Taylor Swift. He says, yeah, shout out to Taylor Swift, biggest gangster in music game right now. You know, I moved my album when she dropped. I said that already. You know, she about to do a Millie run through him, Millie Rock on your head top. Well, she got the whole PG Lang on mute like that Beyonce challenge. Y'all boys quiet for the weekend like Dot. I know you're in that NY apartment. You struggling right now. I know it. That is hilarious. In the notepad doing lyrical gymnastics, my boy. You better have a quintuple entendre on that some shit I don't even understand. Like, that shit better be crazy. We're waiting on you. Yeah. So he's saying, listen, man, we're waiting time. You better have some shit that's just going to obliterate me. And this track shouldn't be taken as serious. How I view this track is, if you're familiar with 50 Cent's diss track, I'm Not Rich, I'm Still Lying, he pretends to be Game in that track and disses 50. But it's 50 making the diss track. He's just pretending that Game's corny. You know, if 50 had AI back then, he would have used Game's voice, but he pretends he sounds like Game in that track and just basically clowns Game. And that's what Drake's doing here. This track shouldn't be taken as this next level, next bar diss track. Push-ups be taken as that, but this track is more of a taunting. Hey, where you at? I got Tupac and Snoop Dogg clowning you with AI. Where you at? Taylor Swift got you ducking right now with her, amazing weekend sales that she's going to be doing. So my overall thoughts on the track is it's genius because of the AI stuff. It's using the Eminem 8 Mile approach, dissing a bit of Drake to let people know that, hey, if Kendrick throws this at me, I already said it before him through the AI stuff. And he's clowning the whole AI thing about, hey, this track is AI, this track is not. Honestly, it's ruining a lot of what's going on in hip-hop with this AI stuff. But if you're using it in this fashion and it's confirmed it's AI, different story, But this AI leaks of people randomly making these tracks is very, very corny, very, very stupid. There hasn't been any Kendrick Lamar response. If you hear a Kendrick Lamar quote-unquote response, it's not real, guys. Don't fall for it. It's AI, 100%. It's very easy to tell if something's AI right now. As of right now, I know a lot of you can't pick up on it, but I could. The second the Drake track dropped, the push-ups track, I could tell it was Drake because of the breathing. You gotta look for certain sounds, and you can't be robotic type of sounding. And you can hear it on this Drake diss track actually with Tupac and Snoop Dogg's voices. You can hear it sounds robotic. But as the years go on, I think in the next probably 2 years, 3 years, it's going to be very hard to tell the difference. And that's where we're really going to have to get scared and be like, what's going on? And I knew this is going to happen. I knew when a battle was going to start. I called this out back in 2000 and late 2022, early 2023 when AI was really starting to become a thing. I said, listen, there's going to be so many tracks and stuff. There's going to be stuff coming out where artists going to deny it, claim it, whatever. And it's going to look really messy. And we're not going to be able to tell what's real. So wait until Kendrick actually tweets, posts something. Wait until Drake actually tweets and posts something. Because if you don't, it's not, you can't believe it. You can't trust it. Don't fall for these random pages doing this type of stuff, dropping these fake AI versions of stuff. Be a little bit smarter in waiting for the official source, or just from a trusted source that you trust, like Academics getting it. Academics does have contact with Drake, so him getting the track sent, premiering it live, it was a CD quality version, made sense. You could trust that. But, if it just randomly leaks online from some random page that you don't trust. Unfortunately, a lot of big media sites are reporting on a lot of these AI tracks. If they are, I would unfollow those media sites and don't fuck with them ever again, because they shouldn't be doing that. If you're a big media platform, especially in hip hop, you should not be co-signing or posting any of these AI tracks. You, especially as media platforms, including mine, got to do better. You got to vet this stuff before you even talk about it. I never talked about any of the AI Kendrick tracks, never talked about the Drake second AI track that dropped. Not this one that we're talking about right now in this video, but the other one before. So a lot of stuff going on. Let me know what you guys think. I personally like the track. I think it's a taunting track. It's nothing to be taken really, really serious, but it's something to, remind Kendrick that, hey, the pressure's on you. Drop your track, drop, because I got something for you. So, hey, whether you like Drake or not, you got to respect the fact that he's applying pressure. So we'll keep you guys posted on if anything changes or anything new comes out. Also, when this track came out, my question is, what is Snoop Dogg going to think? Well, Snoop Dogg immediately responded, and he responded on Instagram with the video, and it's exactly how I expected him in his bedroom clothes, just woken up. He says he got a bunch of text messages. He has no idea what's going on, and this is what he dropped as a response video.
They did what? When? How? Are you sure? Y'all have a good night. And to all. Right off, everybody calling my phone, blowing me up. What the fuck? What happened? What's going on? I'm going back to bed. Good night.
This was the perfect response from Snoop Dogg, because a lot of people were wondering what's going on. Now, a lot of people are asking the question, can Drake get possibly sued or get a cease and desist from Snoop Dogg or Tupac? And I don't think so, because Drake is not releasing this on streaming platforms. He's not going to be profiting off this. This track is just a track that he just randomly dropped. If he tried to put it on streaming platforms, that's when you have an issue. When you start trying to profit off of, Snoop Dogg or Tupac, different story. Snoop Dogg clearly doesn't care. I mean, his response in the video shows that. He's just like, what's going on? And it's hilarious to him. But Tupac, it would be interesting, to get Tupac Estate's response to this. What does Tupac Estate think? Who owns all of Tupac's rights? What do they think of the situation? That would be very interesting, because this AI stuff moving forward is going to cause a lot more confusion and a lot more problems for artists. And it's already starting to get banned, and artists are starting to get together and, pass bills and laws that say, hey, you can't use this stuff with our music unless it's with our consent. So it's going to get very, very crazy in these upcoming years once AI gets really, really well advanced in technology, and to the point where we won't be able to tell the difference at all. I mean, I could tell when the leak came out for Drake's push-ups tracks that it was actually Drake, because of the way it was breathing and the way it was flowing a lot smoother. AI has this robotic type of response, but with technology advancing the way it is, and with AI advancing the way it is, it's going to be very hard to tell the difference. So Snoop Dogg had fun with it. I mean, a lot of people are, having mixed reactions. They're liking it. They're not liking it. They think it's corny. They think it's interesting. I think it was just interesting because of the fact that, a lot of what people are going to use against Drake, he already mentioned through Tupac and the Snoop Dogg AIs. So he's kind of using the 8 Mile Eminem approach where, hey, I'm going to say it about myself before you can say something. And then he's taunting Kendrick. This is just another way to try to get into Kendrick's head. I don't really view this diss track as an actual Drake going at Kendrick diss track. I just view it as, hey, come outside and play. I'm waiting on you. I'm waiting. We're waiting. What's happening? So I think, we'll see what moving forward, what happens. This is like the first case, I think, from a mainstream artist use of AI. So, it's not on official streaming platforms, so it's not like, Drake can get sued for this, but it is something that, I think labels and people are going to, they're going to have conversations about this moving forward about how do we address these type of things. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the track. Snoop Dogg is clearly not bothered by it. So I think if Snoop's not bothered by it, most people shouldn't be bothered by it. Now, Tupac's estate, that's a whole different story. It's going to be interesting to see what Suge Knight says about the track. But, moving forward, we'll see. I mean, Kendrick might come out with something that implies that as well, because Kendrick still hasn't dropped like a full diss track going at Drake. But we'll keep our eyes posted, and I'll keep you guys posted. 50 Cent, man, his take on things when it comes to really anything has become pop culture moments. Everybody waits on his take. I mean, if he had a podcast, the thing would do insane numbers because he's experienced so much in life. And especially when it comes to hip hop beefs and battles, he's the most battle tested. He's gone up against real gangsters, real drug dealers, people that wanted to kill him. And he's gone up against entertainment, Hollywood, rappers that aren't really about that life. So he's very, very well battle tested and all this stuff. And he's decided to weigh in on Drake's AI track using Tupac's vocals as well as Snoop Dogg's vocals to, diss Kendrick Lamar in that tailor-made freestyle. And he decided to weigh in on Chris Brown cooking Quavo in that Weakest Link diss track. Talking about the Drake tailor-made freestyle, he posted the track on his Instagram. And he posted the eye emoji. He says, okay, in my professional expert opinion on this matter, leave this man alone. I've seen this movie before. It will not end well. You disagree? Okay, then where is your shit at, boy? This was interesting because he said this does not end well. There's multiple ways you can look at this. One, he could be just bigging up Drake and saying, listen, don't mess with this guy. This guy's cooking you guys, and he can take on all you guys. And he said, I've been in this position before where I've destroyed, and he did. Piggy Bank, that record, he's going like 7-8 people on one track. And that's a really underrated diss track. I think he cooked a lot of artists, man. Even though Jadakiss gets the props for doing his thing and going at 50, all he did was I'd do a line or two saying, hey, you're local. Nobody listens to you like that. And I felt like that was enough for Jadakiss. Shine, Locked Up, all that stuff. So dissing Lil Kim, Nas, all this stuff. So 50 knows what it's like to be in battles when it comes to this stuff. So I think he's bigging up Drake here, but he's also saying, it could not end well in terms of using the AI voices. I don't know if he's referencing that as well. He could be saying, listen, this is not something that you want to be messing with because, now you're potentially alienating the whole LA or maybe West Coast by kind of toying with this stuff, toying with Tupac's legacy and using the AI voice, toying with Snoop Dogg, toying with the whole Compton thing, and you got to stand up for the West Coast and you're West Coast savior and you're scared to respond. Now, this is something that Drake has been very treading lightly with. If you guys don't remember, 2014, Drake, this is where the battle was supposed to start off, really, in 2014. Kendrick dropped the Control Verse remix, caused Drake to kind of have an issue with it. Drake then went subliminally at him on Nothing Was the Same, on the language and worst behavior, records like that. Kendrick responded to BT Cypher, Nothing Was the Same when I tucked a pajama wrap or whatever he says in there. Then Drake apparently went on an ESPN show and said, hey, Kendrick is nowhere near my level. I'm up here. He's down here. And, he's local in Compton. That's all. Only Compton people know him. However, this interview never came out because it never aired it wasn't live aired. It was just a pre-recorded show. Usually this sports show that was interviewing him does their shows live, but at this moment they didn't. And Drake's team told them, do not air that interview, destroy it, or else Drake will not host the ESPYs, which he was hosting in 2014 at the time. So he threatened, hey, I'm not going to host the ESPYs if you guys air this. They ended up deleting it, but one of the hosts, I think his name is Marcus Wiley or something like that, he revealed the details that Drake was clowning Kendrick, saying, you're local, you're Compton. And the reason why Drake didn't want that release is because he was traveling a lot to Los Angeles. He was moving around. If you know Los Angeles, you got to get past in a lot of things. And maybe it would have started to cause tensions of East Coast, West Coast, even though Drake's not from the East Coast. He's more from the north of Canada. He's not even in America, really. He's not even from America. But it would have caused a lot of tensions of where Drake can move and where Drake can go. And it just would have potentially been more than he can chew at that time. Now, Drake's become at a whole different level. He's got all these mob ties. He talks all tough on records because now he's got the money to back it up. It can get bad, like 50 saying. It could get really, it could not end well because now you're involved in a whole coast with using Tupac's AI voice and Snoop's AI voice. Not that he did it in a disrespectful way, but he's saying, listen, you're the West Coast king. They crowned you this, not Tupac, but Snoop Dogg, as well as Game and everybody else. They gave you this crown of being the next person to carry the torch. And you're ducking me. You're not responding. And that's what he's doing. He's trying to taunt Kendrick. Hey, get at me, get at me. You're this West Coast savior. You're this legend. You're this guy who's supposed to be this huge boogeyman, and you haven't responded yet. So I like 50's take on that because, he's right. It can get ugly. It can turn really, really ugly quick. And then 50 decided to give his take on the Chris Brown Quavo thing. So he posted the artwork and the song on his page, which is a crazy artwork. Weakest link with Quavo downing and glizzy. And in the caption, he said, "Oh my God, I just heard this. If Quavo don't come with some heat, it's a wrap. First, the Fat Boys break up. Now this." That's hilarious. But yeah, man, I think perfectly said. I think, Quavo's got to really respond, or else his career, whatever career, I don't think as a solo artist he's really that big, in my opinion. But, the Migos, unfortunately, what happened to Takeoff has forever dismantled that. That's never going to happen again. So Quavo's got to rely on his solo career, and this is not a good look, man. Chris Brown cooked him. And Chris Brown said he's got some information on him, so we'll keep our eyes posted on that. But a lot of people have really liked this Chris Brown record more than any diss track that's dropped. If you look at the top comment on this, Chris Brown got the best diss track this year. That's the top comment. So a lot of people are enjoying the Chris Brown thing, and I'm going to be covering a lot more. So if you're new to the channel, you don't know what's going on, I cover a lot of beefs. I've done documentaries, full documentaries, covering deep dives, stuff like that. And I'm going to be doing Chris Brown versus Quavo, what really happened. So tune into that. I'll break down more of the history because a lot of people want to know more about the history of what happened. And there's a lot deeper and a lot more things. Chris Brown was actually one of the people that actually supported Migos way before anybody else did. So that's an interesting thing that I think a lot of people overlook or don't look at. So I'm going to look more into that. But 50's right, man. His take when it comes to beef, like if you're ever in a beef, man, I would be calling 50 if you're a rapper. How do I handle this? What do I do? What's the response? I wonder if 50 actually called J. Cole, because he said, I need J. Cole to get on the phone after he apologized to Kendrick. I wonder if he said something to him and maybe change his mind on things. But, Kanye went at J. Cole, so now J. Cole's got a chance to redeem himself. So we'll keep our eyes posted. Obviously, interesting responses, interesting time in hip-hop right now, and there's going to be a lot more where this came from. A lot of people are eyes on Kendrick. What's going to happen? Is he going to respond? He can take his time. Kendrick's never really pressured anybody to release anything. So, to me, he's got about a month. If it's a little bit more than a month, it's like, okay, now you're just dragging things on. Let's get this show on the road. As far as Chris Brown and Quavo, they're going back and forth, and they're sending fire shots at each other within days. So this has been the most forward battle period because they're not on IG. They're not on anything. They're just sending diss tracks to each other back and forth, and that's the way it's supposed to be. So we'll keep our eyes posted, and yeah, crazy times. New music, let's get into it. Taylor Swift dropped The Tortured Poets Department. Like I said, she's on pace to do 2 to 3 million first week. She might even do 4 million, and she has like 6 albums that have done millions of copies first week. It's insane. She's at a whole different level. Even Drake said, I have to move my album because of her. That's the only person. Taylor's gangsta, like Rick Ross said. Nicki Minaj, Travis Scott, Chris Brown, Sexy Red dropped the FTCU remix. Nas and DJ Premier dropped Define My Name. I love this record. I love that Nas and DJ Premier are doing a collab album. It's going to be legendary. Shout out to Nas for continuously putting out music, continuously collaborating, continuously doing new things, trying out things that fans have always wanted. This is the route I wish 50 would have taken, but it is what it is. So shout out to Nas for that. Logic dropped. Sorry, I just literally, a lot of people think Logic is J. Cole. That's the funny thing. Logic for Forever. T Grizzly, Suffer in Silence. Hitty One in Stormzy dropped Cry No More. Mozzie dropped Children of the Slums. The album Rick Ross dropped, obviously, the Champagne Moments on streaming platforms. And then YNW Melly dropped Young New Wave, the album. So check those records out. Album sale, let's get into it. Future and Metro Boomin's We Still Don't Trust You debuted at #1, so they got back-to-back #1 albums. Shout out to them. Future has now officially done this twice in his career. He did that when he dropped those 2 albums in 2017, I think, or 18. Back-to-back #1. And Future is also now one of the 5 rappers or hip-hop artists to have 10 #1 albums. So he's entering rare ground there. So shout out to Future. The album did not sell as well as the first one, but still #1 numbers at 129,000 first week. Beyonce's #2 with Cowboy Carter at 99,000. Future Metro Boomin, we don't trust you. The previous album is at 83,000. Morgan Wallen, number 4, at One Thing at a Time with 72,000. Noah Khan, number 5 with 51,000, Stick Season. Linkin Park debuts Paper Cuts album at number 6 with 44,000. Benson Bone at number 7 with 42,000. Ariana Grande, Eternal Sunshine, number 8 with 40,000. SZA SOS at number 9 with 40,000. And then Morgan Wallen Dangerous double album, which I've been mentioning on this podcast since this podcast started, is at number 10 with 39,000. That shit's never leaving the fucking charts. Going down a bunch of Taylor Swift albums, Drake For All the Dogs at number 16 with 32,000. J. Cole Might Delete Later at number 17 with 31,000. Travis Scott Utopia number 20 with 27,000. Glorilla Everything at number 23 with 25,000. Chris Brown 11:11 Deluxe version is at number 24 with 24,000. Going down, 21 Savage American Dream number 29 with 21,000. Kanye West Ty Dolla $ign Vultures at number 38 with 20,000. Bunch of Taylor Swift stuff, man. It's insane. Kendrick Lamar Damn at number 46 with 18,000. Lil Baby My Turn number 49 with 18,000. Drake Take Care at number 50 with 18,000. And that's it for today's episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast. Appreciate you all. Powered by Golden Eagle Energy Drink. Get your Golden Eagle. They sponsor all of season 4 of the podcast, so please support them at drinkgoldeneagle.com/DMP. Spotify, Deezer, podcast, YouTube, all that. Have an amazing night, day, whenever you listen to this, and peace.